Yay, I'm live. Okay. Wow. This took a while. Okay, let me make sure. This is my first time doing this, you guys. So let me make sure that we all have, let's see. Well, I guess I'm live. Guess I'm live. Let's see. I want to make sure that there we go. There's the share button. Okay. Wanted to make sure I got that shared. So let me send this out to you guys. Oh, hey, there's 4 people. Hey, welcome. Okay, I'm just making, as you know, this is my first time doing this, so I'm learning as I'm going. Let me make sure I have everything correct. Send it out in the Slack group. Oops. Okay, so let's see. I lost you guys. There's that. And thanks for the 2 thumbs up. Let me see. Let me say, hey guys. Oops. Okay, so from what I'm understanding, what we can do is you can type your question in the chat, and you can ask questions as we go. I already have, oh, sorry if that's making a really bad noise. I already have some questions that you guys submitted a couple days ago. So I will go on ahead and answer those. But really quick, I just realized I have a different link. So I'm going to resend it out to the group in an email. So if you will bear with me for like 2 seconds, as you know, this is it's like totally my first time. So I thought I had everything organized and I don't. So let me just send this really quick and we will get going. Okay. Like if you saw my email, I can't wait to kick the tires, light the fires, and get going. So sorry guys. I'm so sorry you're waiting for me. I was just trying to get it all going. So I don't know if oops. Oops. Edit, save. Of course, when we're online, I'm so sorry. You just want to make sure everybody gets it and attends. Again, I am so sorry right now. So you guys are totally watching me as I'm okay. Entrepreneur learning. Okay. Save and close, and send. Okay. Send now. Okay. All right. I'm back. Whew. Okay. Thanks for listening. Okay. You guys are back. I'm back. I see some people have turned off. I am so sorry about that, but I was just trying to understand and see and make sure I got all the right information out to everybody. Okay. So let's just go in. So what is this? So first of all, I'm Alexandra Harbushka. I am host of the podcast Life with Herpes. And I am so excited that you are here. As you know, if you watch my YouTube channels, or my YouTube videos or listen to my podcast, whichever one, I have herpes, I have genital herpes, and I have oral herpes. I have both. And it is my passion in life to create a community for people just like you and me who have herpes. And when you are first diagnosed with herpes, it is probably the most devastating thing. At least I can think of it in my life. It was probably the most devastating thing in my life this far. And what I want for you and from you is I want you guys to just take that devastation and let go of it. At the end of the day, it's a little virus, and we should not let this little virus control our lives. Anyways, we will get to that. What I would like for you to do is a lot of you have submitted questions. You can go on ahead and submit them in the chat. So I'm writing it right now. Oh, yay, you're from England. I love that. It is probably nighttime for you right now. It is 11:10 where I am. So welcome, and I'm glad that you've had, well, I'm not glad that you've had herpes for years, but I'm glad that you are letting us know that you've had it for years, and we are living with it together. So hi from England. Why doesn't everybody say where they're from? I'm currently in Las Vegas. And it is our first day this spring that it's going to be warm weather. We've been in the 50s. So I am so ready for Las Vegas weather. I still have a sweatshirt on, of course, but yeah, I'm getting ready for that. While you guys are doing that, let's get to our question. So the way that the questions are asked, there's 3 ways. If you are a member of the Life with Herpes community, it was in the Slack group. People have asked questions in the Slack group. Or you submitted them through the email I sent out yesterday. Or you can ask them, hey, from Canada. Okay, so you are brand new to having herpes. I see that. Okay, great. We'll talk about that. So, or you can submit your questions right now as you are live. Yeah, those are 3 ways. If you are like, what community? What do you mean email? I didn't get any of it. What are you talking about, Alexandra? I have no idea. Go to lifewithherpes.com and sign up. It is free, Free. Who doesn't love free? It's free. And the best part about it is it's a community. There's so many people over there, a lot going on, people just like you and me who have herpes, and we are together. We're learning, we're asking questions, we're growing, we're finding friendships, all sorts of good stuff. So I really want to invite you to do that. And if you hold on a second, I'm going to have a sip of still having my breakfast. It's my smoothie. So let me just take a quick sip. All right, so we have England, we have Canada. I'm in Las Vegas. We are a global community, and I love that, and I think that is so cool that we get to do this. All right, just trying to fix this so I can move it. Okay. All right, let's get to the first question. In fact, let me move it over here. All right, first question. It comes from one of our friends in Texas, and she says, she says, hi, I got diagnosed 6 months ago, and I live day by day really scared of passing on my HSV-1 virus to my kids on the daily activities. I need your advice on this. This is stressing me out every day. Should I worry about this? What precautions should I take? Or is it not a big deal? I don't know why I'm freaking out. Please help. Thank you. I go to sleep thinking the worst, and I don't want my kids to go through this, and it's not their fault. And I think I have genital HSV. I haven't had an outbreak in my mouth. I just get really itchy sometimes all over and around my body. And when that happens, I try to stay away from my kids. Am I doing too much? All right, so our friend from Texas, I completely understand what you're going through, especially being diagnosed within just the last 6 months. It is really new. It is really raw. It's very, oh, we have new friends. Hey, it is raw. It is, that emotional roller coaster that you go through. I don't know how you contracted herpes, but whatever your story is, I completely understand, and it hurts, right? As far as your children, and this is something I've heard a lot from other people as well, they'll say, oh, I'm really scared to bathe with my kids. Like they want to get in the bathtub with me, or they want to cuddle with me, or any of that. So to break it down for you, and I completely understand your concern. In fact, when I was first diagnosed with HSV1 orally, it had gone away. It was on its last, like the blisters were probably on the last day, and I was waiting like another day just to make sure everything was clear. And my little cousin, my little cousin, she's 15 years younger than me, and we were at my parents' house, and she picked up my glass. Like, I don't know whatever I was drinking, and she picked it up and took a sip. And I was like, oh my gosh, because she would have been 5 years old. So she wouldn't, you can't, what do you do, right? So I completely understand what you're thinking is you just don't want to pass it. Now that was oral, so it's easier to pass oral herpes than it is genital herpes, just because you come more in contact with your mouth on a daily basis, right? Your mouth is exposed. Your genital region is not. So to get back to your question, it's skin to skin. So remember that it's skin to skin contact. So if your kids come into contact with that area, you may not have it in your genital area. It may be on the inside, like in your inner thigh. It could be below your belly button. A lot of people don't necessarily have it in their genital region. So if your kids come into contact with that area, just make sure that they wash their hands. Same with you. When you touch that area, make sure you wash your hands. That's just going to be the best thing. As far as other activities, getting in the bathtub with you, cuddling with you, as long as they don't touch that area, then it's fine. It can't pass through the bathtub. It's skin to skin. So that's a really good question, and I understand your concern because you don't want to pass it to anybody, right? So I would take a deep breath, and we can go into this a little bit more in detail. But what I want to do is I want to get to all the questions. So I hope that answers your question about about your kids and being worried. I completely understand. Okay. Next question is, I'm getting outbreaks every 2 weeks. What's going on? How can I stop this? Okay. So I don't know your story. If it's HSV1, HSV2, or where you have herpes, if it's oral, genital, I'm just going to assume it's genital because that's what mostly we talk about here on Life with Herpes is genital herpes. And I don't know if you're a male or female. Here's one thing I'm going to say. If you are a female and you're getting them every 2 weeks or quite frequently, I want you to look and see if you're getting them around your period. As females, we tend to, we're more sensitive around our period. And I always know, like, yeah, I know that's Captain Obvious here. But just in general, our bodies are more sensitive, and we're working a little bit harder during that time. And so a lot of times it gives our immune system is just on overdrive. And so that can pop up. I don't know. I'd love to hear more about you. So if you're on here, go on ahead and type in something. I'd love to hear maybe a little bit more about what you were saying. But if you're getting outbreaks every 2 weeks, there's a lot we can do with diet. And there's a lot we can do with perhaps your immune system. What I'm going to recommend, again, not knowing all the little details, would be, are you on a daily antiviral? The daily antivirals, Valtrex, Baclocyclovir, they will suppress the virus and it will allow it to lie dormant. When it lies dormant, it doesn't pop up and create an outbreak. So that is something I would ask. Again, I don't know if you are on a daily antiviral, or kind of what's going on in your life. Also, there's some exterior things that can be happening in your life that could cause an outbreak. So I'd love if you're here, or anyone who's listening, if they have similar situations, go on ahead and type that in and let me know, and I can kind of dive deep. Yeah, I'd love to really dive deep in that and answer it, but let's get going. Okay. Okay, I have HSV2, so herpes simplex virus 2, typically known as genital herpes. I have HSV2, and my girlfriend doesn't. What can I do to prevent giving it to her? All right, great question. I get this question all the time. I have it, my lover doesn't. My lover has it, I don't have it. Whatever it is, or I have it and I want to get into a relationship and I don't want to give it to him or her. Hey, we have a new friend. Welcome. Really quick, just to get you up to date, we're talking about the question we have is, my girlfriend, I have herpes, but my girlfriend doesn't. How do I prevent giving it to her? Hey, another new friend. We have a lot of new friends. So what I'm going to recommend, and there's a lot we can work with. I do have a podcast episode on this, but it requires 3 things. And these are the 3 really important things that will be the best resource to prevent passing it to your partner. One is to educate yourself, right? Learn about herpes. What is herpes? So educate yourself, which is exactly what you're doing, obviously, on this live. And if you're a part of the Life with Herpes community, I'm assuming that's what you're doing as well. So educate yourself. The second thing is communicate to your partner, talk to your partner, tell your partner, talk about it, ask, like have an open dialogue, and not a dialogue that's like, so I have herpes, and just like, like really have a deep conversation about it. I want to make clear this is very different than the conversation you have when you initially tell someone you have herpes. That's a totally different conversation. This conversation is, you're in a relationship, you're going to be having sex, you want to have sex, your partner knows you have herpes, he or she wants to have sex with you, you're at that point in the relationship. So educate yourself, talk to your partner, tell your partner, like, hey, I get outbreaks once a year. I get outbreaks once a month. I get outbreaks, whatever. I get outbreaks. I love camping. Every time I go camping, I get outbreaks. Whatever your little story is for your particular body, tell them that. And then 3 would be to use a condom and an antiviral. So those are the 3 really important things, keys that you can use to prevent passing it to your partner. And again, we can dive deeper in this. I do weekly live. Well, they are live, but they're not on YouTube. They're private, a little more private. I do weekly group support group. So we're online. We are all talking. It's not just me talking. So I do that twice a week. So if you want, we can dive deeper into this together and ask questions and like really learn your particular situation. And then, okay, another question. This is another great one. Are there foods that I shouldn't eat to keep from getting outbreaks? Yes, there are. There's foods you shouldn't eat to keep from getting outbreaks. Absolutely. Just like anything, there's foods associated, as we've kind of moved through this whole period in our life of getting away from processed foods to eating whole foods. Hey, new friend. We are getting away from, we're learning more about how we can heal our bodies through just basic nutrition. We're kind of going back to our original roots. And I see we have a question. So I'll get to that. Marjorie, I'll answer your question. So hold on one second. Are there foods that I shouldn't eat to keep from getting outbreaks? Yeah, absolutely. So let me get back to that. There are the biggies that we know we shouldn't eat, we should cut back on, or we shouldn't indulge in, and they're the obvious ones, right? It's sugar, processed foods, like cookies, breads, pastas, pizzas, anything that's really processed or comes in a package. That's the obvious big one. Why that is because they're just processed, and it's not really real food, right? They're chemically made. They're not grown on a tree or grown in the ground or alive at one point. But what we want to avoid are foods that are high in arginine. Arginine is important. It's something we need in our body, but arginine is something that fuels the herpes virus. So what we would want to do is avoid foods that are high in arginine. Some of those foods are anything processed, and my favorite one is chocolate. Chocolate's high in arginine, and also nuts. Nuts are high in arginine. There's also another long list of foods, but those are just kind of the biggies, and those are some of the ones that we probably consume on a daily basis. So let me get back to Marjorie's question. So she said here, and I gotta move my thing. She says, when we want kids, we don't have a choice to stop using condoms. So this is a chance to take and give it our love. Yeah, absolutely. So when you're at a point in a relationship where you're like, hey, we're here, we're in it. Typically when you're in that committed relationship, at that point, the partner's like, hey, at this point, I'm with you. I love you. I don't care if I get it. Now that, of course, is up to you and your partner. And also something I make very, very clear, and I'm really glad Marjorie made this point, is if you're the person with herpes. So for example, in my case, I'm the person with herpes. My husband does not have herpes. Okay. So it is up to him. It was up to him to make that choice of whether or not to use a condom or not. Right? So that was up to him. In my past relationships as well, I had herpes. My boyfriends did not have herpes. So those boyfriends, it was his decision to say, yes, I want to use a condom, or you know what? No, I'm okay with getting it. Let's not use the condom. So you have to remember it's their choice, not yours. So it's not your choice if you're the guy, because usually it's the guy that's like, well, I don't want to use condoms. If you're the guy with herpes, you need to let your partner make that decision, right? Same thing, girls. You need to let your partner make that decision if he wants to stop using a condom, as long as you're okay with it. Both of you have to be on the same page, right? With it. If you're like, hey, I just want to use a condom forever because that's just my thing and my jam and I love them, then of course. But if you're like, I don't like what we were saying here, I want to, the chat said, hey, what happens when you want to have kids? Clearly you can't use a condom if you want to have kids. Then it's up to both of you to make that decision. So I just want to make that clear. That was a really great point, and I like to make that clear. It is up to your partner at that point to feel comfortable with everything. Both of you need to feel comfortable with the decision and go forward. In past relationships, I've told my ex-boyfriends, like, hey, if you do, when you get to the point where you're in a committed relationship, we've had other STD tests, we're both comfortable with everything we've learned, and then we say, all right, let's move forward. Okay, I have another chat, so let me just see. Okay. In the African American community, no man I've met is okay with taking a chance unless you're Halle Berry with herpes. All right, I bet, right? You're welcome, Marjorie. Yeah, probably, right? Yeah, I mean, it's that would be a really interesting thing to hear and really ask, because when you ask people, in general, like if I was just to ask random people on the street and be like, hey, do you use a condom? They'd be like, oh yeah, of course. Everyone's going to say they use a condom. But when you really narrow it down and really ask them, like, no, let's be serious. Do you always use a condom, I bet the answer would be completely different. So that would be a fun thing to, to ask. We have new friends. Hi, welcome. Okay, let me keep getting, yeah, totally. Let me keep going. Okay. This kind of goes back to our first question. If I'm not having an outbreak and I touch my vagina, like I'm going to the bathroom or something, will I get it on my hands? Okay, this is a really great question. I was actually just on the phone with a friend who was asking me this question as well. Like, what if I touch myself and I have it and whatever? What I'm going to recommend, well, the answer is yes, but don't worry. Like, don't stress yourself out. Kind of like we were hearing in the first question, like, what about my kids? I don't want to pass it to my kids. And I understand you don't want to pass it to your kids, or you don't want to accidentally pass herpes to anybody, right? So can you get herpes from touching your vagina or penis or whatever? Yes, and it's because of viral shedding. I just did an episode this last week on viral shedding. I went really into depth on it. To give you a quick little synopsis, every virus decides, hey, I want to pop up. I just want to have a breath of fresh air. Just like in the springtime, we're in spring right now, the flowers open, the pollen comes out, and it just like bursts out, right? Just like us, if I probably put my hands through my hair, I am getting some hair that is coming out, right? So like I shed. If I were to scratch my arm right now, which we can't see, but cells or like dead skin would shed. So same thing, and I'll put my hair over there that just came out. Same thing as the virus just itself wants to shed. There are no symptoms. There are no signs. You don't feel it. You don't know what's happening. So when you are having viral shedding, technically you could touch yourself and then you could transmit it to some other part. You could transmit it to your mouth. You could transmit it to your eyes. You could transmit it to a lover, a partner. So what I recommend with that is wash your hands. Just get in the habit. Go back to what you learned from your parents. Go back to what you learned in kindergarten. Just go back to those daily, those just little daily things. You know, wash your hands. Try not to touch your eyes. Try not to touch your mouth. We all do. I touch my mouth, my hand, like, you know, we touch our bodies all day long. But just get back to wash your hands before you eat. If you touch your genital region, go wash your hands. After you have sex, go wash your hands. If you masturbate, go wash your hands. So that's just wash your hands. Just and keep that. So do we have any more questions? These are some of the ones that came in the last 24 hours. Why I have you on here. Do you guys have any additional questions that I can answer while I'm here? I'm going to take a quick sip of my smoothie. It was pretty boring. It's banana, raspberries, blackberries, hemp seed, vanilla, cinnamon, high in fiber. Fiber is important. Okay, it doesn't seem like we have any more questions. A couple things I want to cover. Couple things I want to cover are, are symptoms always the same with genital herpes, even if it's in the buttocks? Okay, so great question. Thank you, Desiree. Symptoms are different for everybody. Let's compare the common cold. And let's just compare the common cold. So I don't know if you can hear right now, I have a little bit of a cold again, my second time this month. My husband brought a cold home and I got it. Is it possible to become immune to the antivirals? Okay, thanks, Courtney. I'll get to that in a second. Okay, so symptoms are different for everybody. Again, we'll talk about the cold, right? We all have that little trigger in our body where we go, oh, I'm getting a cold. Whether you have a headache, whether maybe your mind's fuzzy and you're like, gosh, I'm just foggy. I'm worn down. Maybe you can feel your lymph nodes work harder. Maybe you can feel, maybe you're fatigued. Maybe you get a little tingle in your sore throat, right? Those are all different signs and symptoms that we know when we're getting a cold. Then it goes into it, right? Goes through its life. Same thing with herpes. Everybody has a little different sensation. For me personally, I get kind of like a burning sensation, like almost a burning root, like it's a rooted sensation. It's like you can feel it in your toe. Other people get itchy. I personally don't get itchy. So everybody has, so that it's itchy. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. It's itchy, it's tingly, it's burning, it's an open lesion that's like really bad. That's bad. That's like a paper cut, really bad. A lot of times you can feel your lymph nodes working really hard. And I'm trying to think if I got them all off the top of my head. Those are the signs and symptoms. So for you, Desiree, I would say whatever your signs are would be probably typical throughout the rest of your body. Oh, I've also heard of people, I have a friend, she's like, I get in the worst mood about 2 days before I get an outbreak. She's like, I am just a raging bitch and I don't know why. So that's when she knows she's getting an outbreak, when she's just pissed off at the world. Everybody has their own little quirk, not quirk, but we all have our own little symptom. So I would say if you get outbreaks in both locations, then probably they are going to be the same symptom. So does that make sense? Okay, for you, yours tingle and itch. Okay. So yeah, I would say if that's your like antenna that goes, okay, that's what's going on, then yeah, it would probably be the same throughout your body. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Courtney asks, is it possible to become immune to the antivirals? So here's, I'm like, I don't want to give a yes or a no. Here's what happens. Our immune systems change throughout our lives, right? So certain things, maybe as a kid, you're like, I always got XYZ and now I never get XYZ and I get ABC, right? Same things, maybe there were certain things you could eat as a kid and as an adult you can't eat, or vice versa. Maybe as a kid you were allergic to shellfish and now you're like, I can't get enough of shrimp. Like our bodies change and mix and things like that. So is it possible to become immune to the antiviral? I would say our bodies change. I would say that if you've been on the antiviral for a really, 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 really long time, I mean years, and all of a sudden you're now just getting outbreaks, chances are, yeah, your body's just become used to it. It's become a support. It's become a crutch. And it's like, hey, I just need to get this. I need to mix it up. If that's the case, there's other antivirals you can take. I would look at switching them. On that topic, I know personally, I can't remember. Oh, I had really bad acne in my 20s. And the doctor put me from the branded, so like the expensive brand. My insurance covered the whatever, the non-generic brand, right? So the recipe should be the same, but when I went to the generic brand, I had this really weird, like dry mouth reaction to the acne medication. So in your case, Courtney, it might, if you are seeing outbreaks or you're feeling like it's not working as well, just try a different formula and see what happens. Also, just take an evaluation of what's going on in your life. You know, maybe some things have shifted. Maybe you're going through a really hard time. Maybe there's some things in your diet that have happened. Maybe there's toxic people in your life that is causing this. So if that's your case, then I would kind of look at that. So here's what I want to recommend for all of you. If you're not a member of the Life with Herpes community, I really want to invite you to be there and join the community. like I always say, I don't know if this is my tagline or what. You're welcome, Courtney. Is this is a community I never wanted to be a part of, right? I never wanted to be a part of a herpes community because no one raises their hand and goes like, yes, I want to do this. I want to get herpes, right? I think of Elf like, yes, Santa's coming, right? No, that's not how we are about herpes. But with that being said, I have to say I absolutely love our community. It has been such a honor and a blessing for me to be able to guide you through this. It really is my purpose, and I absolutely love being a part of it and being and creating it. So I'm really proud of it myself. I really wish I had this when I was first diagnosed. So if you are not a member, go to lifewithherpes.com, sign up. It's free. You get to join our Slack group. There's some ebooks. You get some discount codes on some of our stuff. It's really great. So A, I want to invite you to do that. B, I'm going to be doing this weekly. Does that sound good? Let me know. Like, do you like this? It's weekly. I'm going to keep it to 30 minutes. We went over a little bit. It's my first time. I didn't really know how this whole thing worked. But I'm going to be doing this weekly. So I'll be doing this on Fridays at 11 my time in Pacific. That would be 1 Central, 2 Eastern. I don't know what time it is in London. It's probably nighttime, and I don't know what time it is in Australia. But I'm going to be doing this on Fridays, so I'll keep it to 30 minutes. So submit your questions. And then 3, what I'm really, really excited about is we do have group. Oh, you're welcome. We do have support group, and we meet twice a week. We go really in depth. So we really peel back the onion to your specific situation. And it's really beneficial to have a lot of, when I say a lot, there's a group that meets. So we talk about everybody's specific situation, and then we're able to learn. It's like, oh, I forgot. I have this going on too. Oh, so-and-so does too. So I do have that twice a week, and I'd love to invite you guys to join. What I have going on with it, which I'm really excited, is we have 8 sessions a week, 8 sessions a month. We go through 4 topics, and they rotate. So we talk about dating. We talk about how do I date. We talk about how do I tell my partner, which would kind of go back to the question we had, how do I prevent passing it to my partner? What we had, my girlfriend doesn't have it. How do I prevent passing it to her? Like, we would go really into detail with that. And then nutrition and how do I prevent these outbreaks? And then what is herpes? And I know that one sounds pretty obvious, but a lot of times we don't even know what it is that we have. And, the way I look at it, I am guaranteed to die with this virus. So I might as well know everything I can about it, because it is with me for the rest of my life. So anyways, it is twice a week. If you want to drop in, it is $30 to drop in. Or if you want to join for the month unlimited, it's $15. So that's clearly the way to go. It's $15 group coaching. We meet twice a week. We meet one evening and one daytime. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put that link in the chat, but I really want to invite you to do that. It really will be a great way that we can connect and other people in the community connect. And it really is, it's really rewarding. Like, it's so touching to see other people connect. So I love that. So, of course, I don't have the link ready, but let me just type it in. lifewithherpes.com / okay, there you go. There is the link. Go ahead, grab it. Go there, sign up. Like I said, it's $15 for the month. You can go to all 8 sessions. It's basically not, it's like an affordable way to do one-on-one coaching, but it's $15. Otherwise, it'd be $100 if you want to do one-on-one. So it's really a great way. Anyways, I want to invite you all to do that. Join me. I love seeing people from all over the world. It is super cool to me. It blows my mind still to think that I'm in Las Vegas. We have someone in London. We have someone in Texas. We have someone in Canada. I don't know where other people are, but it blows my mind. I think it's so amazing to have that. If there aren't any other questions, I am going to wrap up and end this. I look forward to seeing you all next week. Like I said, if you want to join our intense sessions, I highly recommend it. Go to lifewithherpes.com/support group. And we can meet up Monday. Monday we're meeting. We're talking about nutrition and outbreak prevention. So if that's something that's really interesting to you, come join. All right. Have a great rest of your Friday. TGIF. If you're in London, I hope you're having a beer or a glass of wine. For those of us that is still before the PM hour, like myself, I'm still finishing my breakfast and I'm going to have a cup of tea. So wherever you are in your day, enjoy your day. God bless. Happy Friday. Reach out to me with any questions, and I cannot wait to see you all soon. Mwah. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, guys.